Can we just jump right in here? Or?
Yeah, well, yeah, we have a very big presentation with a lot of information. I'm sure we don't even cover it all, but we're going to do our best to sort of summarize the whole thing for you. So
we almost have too much here. We're going to try to do this as well as we can. So Kumburgaz in Turkey is right near Istanbul. For those of you who are completely geography dead, there's a map of the world. That's Google Earth. And you can see here's Europe, here's Russia. Here's a little place called Turkey. This is where this all happens. And that red dot is actually, that's where Kumburgaz is right next to Istanbul. It's a strategically very key part of the world, frankly. This is a close-up. You get a little, you got the Bosporus here. This is a very narrow strait of water connecting the Black Sea to the Sea of Marmara, which connects to the Straits of Dardanelles. This is all ancient history, guys, to the Aegean Sea, which connects to the Mediterranean. Critically important area in the world. Here's Kumburgaz, right? Basically a suburb of Istanbul. And the sightings that we're going to talk about from 07, 08, and 09 are from right here. And I'll just move to the next. This is what this is a Google Earth. You can see this is very built up. It's very modern, obviously, right near a big city. This is a map we took from another site. And this is right where they were located. The witness, we'll get into him in a moment. It's actually quite a few witnesses. And this is the Sea of Marmara. And it connects, again, the Black Sea to the Aegean. Again, very, very big, important area. The primary person of interest here is named Yeltsin Yelman. He is a night watchman. And he's got interesting, like from 2007, he is an estimate of up to 20 witnesses, but during this period of time, you've got reports of unknown aerial objects seen across Turkey, actually, but certainly that area. You got a whole bunch of videos, which he took. The group called Serious UFO Research, which is Turkey's main UFO group, filed reports, got reports from this. And we're going to show you a lot of these images. I'm going to try to show very brief about amount of the clip, excuse me. You've got objects maneuvering, hovering over the sea, and his camera, you've been looking into this as well. Do you want to talk about his camera at all? Or it's a,
I'm gonna cover that a little bit later.
Very strong zoom. It's got an optical zoom as well. I think 200-time optical zoom.
Yeah, that is. Mm-hmm.
And so, and then this whole thing got involved with the National Council for the Study of Science and Technology, that's TÜBİTAK in Turkish. They analyzed a lot of the footage, and we'll talk about that in just a minute. This is Haktan Ogdogan. He's the main Turkish UFO researcher. Sorry that they stretched him out on this YouTube video. Haktan actually has got normal proportions. Great guy. I met him. Here he is speaking in one of many interviews that he did. And his position is that this is absolutely genuine, completely, totally legit. He's been involved in all of aspects of analyzing the video. These are just some of the witnesses. This is from another random YouTube, not random, but another YouTube video that talks about the witnesses of the case. Here's one, and they've got it nicely translated. Thank you. He says, the first time I saw them between 3 and 5:30 a.m. Not every night. I had been witness to this as they had their lights on. This is Yeltsin Yelman, who's the main photographer. He says, I've seen it 7 times in 3 years. I've recorded several times with people who were there. I calculate there are around 20 witnesses. This is one of the witnesses, and they interviewed him for quite a bit in this clip. I saw a very intense, extremely bright light. It stayed there in the sky. By the way, it moved. I think this definitely goes against the laws of gravity. And he said after staying there for a while, it started to grow bigger like this, and it suddenly disappeared. He talks about Yeltsin Yaman. He says he spends most of his time recording. He's usually accompanied by witnesses. That's the reason we are convinced that this is about authentic objects. We are eyewitnesses of it. So that's...
Can we just say here for a second?
Yeah.
This is one of the reasons why this case is so interesting, because these objects were there multiple times over many years. And not only that, but they were hovering in the sky for long periods of time.
Right.
And then you have multiple witnesses. You have it on camera, some of the best footage ever seen. And then you have all of these different witnesses on different occasions who were there alongside the photographer,
Right.
you know, visually seeing this with the naked eye. So you have all of these separate accounts. I mean, we're going to go through everything about it, but it's fascinating just with that alone.
This is one. I was looking for other headlines. I'm sure there's others. This is one that I was able to find. This did get some play in the media, and you can see this is a newspaper image of the object. Here's what the object, of course, looks like. I think many of you out there are very familiar with this. This was one still from 2008, but this is also from 07 and 09. It's quite interesting, right? It's very intriguing. And most of them look something like this, I would say.
The shape is generally consistent.
Yeah, this is from a YouTube site where 2008 Turkey UFO raw footage. I don't really want to use a lot of video because I don't want to.
Oh yeah.
But I think I'm just going to use like 15 seconds of this just to. I don't think that'll be a problem if I just share that much, a little bit of the.
And I
video.
just want to give it credit to, this comes from the YouTube channel Turkey UFO Incident.
Right, most of this does. So this is just a little bit of the video. A lot of you've seen it, and it moves around a lot because it's handheld. A lot of it, I think. It's hard to say how much this is moving. There are stabilized images of this as well. And I think that's all we're going to show here for this. So I don't want to overdo it.
Another interesting thing, I know I have it later. I'm not sure if you have it, but these were also seen at night as well as day. And that's important as we get deeper into the case. Because it has this unusual shape, you know, when you really stare at it for a long time, it looks a little strange, wouldn't you say? It looks so solid, right, and unusual, that you really want to see a different angle. And when you start to see it in the early hours of the day, when the sun is still down, but we've got light,
we have a couple of those images as well.
A completely different picture. And so this was the case on a few occasions. So
this is a slightly different angle, I think. Every now and then you do get a little bit different. And then you get this type of a situation where it's a very intense glow off of it. And there's this notch that's here. What is that? There's a sequence that I just did some screenshots of. And I'm pointing this out because this is out of focus. It's like a lot of these shots go in and out of focus. And he zooms in a lot. I think that's significant because one of the arguments that we're going to address later is that this is primarily, or actually fundamentally, an artifact of the lens itself, of the camera. And I'm having a hard time, like there are some examples of that effect, which we will show you, but I look at this and I think I'm not really persuaded by this. So you see him zooming in and he gets back into focus and it comes right into this.
It's so odd looking.
It is odd looking. Now this part here, like you wonder, is this actually part of a larger object and it's just somehow cut off? Like that's part of the suggestion, I think, of some of the skeptics. Gilles Fernandez, I think most prominently talks about this on his site. It's French, but translated into English. I think we figured out most of what he's trying to say there. But I don't know, because this is not full circle either. Like you can really see this straightens out here. This is not the same angle as here, the same arc, I don't think. Do you? I think it does look more straighten out.
But I just want to add this. I mean, we're going to get to this later, but of course, you know, I'm looking at this, I'm sure you are too, and you're thinking it looks kind of fake, right? It looks strange, but the Serious UFO Research Group, as you will see, went so deep into their study of this. And the first thing that they did was they took this footage and they digitized it and they blew it right up. And immediately they're looking for things like strings and fishing line and this type of thing, because they're going
presumably
through it.
Found none of that.
When they blew it up and they're going pixel by pixel looking for this, they were unable to find anything like this. I just want to put that out there because you're probably thinking what I am looking at that particular one. It looks
Right.
so odd, you know?
I just took these four stills. This is all within a couple of seconds. And you can just see, you know, it's like this very bright reflection. It gets out of focus, and like within 5 seconds, it's got this kind of a look. So it's very interesting how that effect would be achieved if that's an artifact of the camera.
Mhm.
Like, I don't see easily how that would happen.
Yeah.
Maybe some camera expert can tell us, but I'm not seeing it. And this is something you found, this clip. You showed me this. So we've got different looks going on.
We have
here.
different samples, you know, different days, different times of day. And
this is the cruise ship argument right here. We'll get into that.
Well, yeah, we'll talk about that later, but we just wanted to be able to show you what it looks like basically in the dark and what it looked like in the daytime when they were able to capture both situations. So it looked completely different. I mean, this shape generally matches. But
is this different? Is this a totally different thing than that? I mean, it's got a different kind of a different shape here.
I know, right?
But it is unusual. It is interesting. We've got a better version of that image we're going to show a little later, right? I think we do, yeah. So what do we have next? So there's been...
This is great context.
There's been people who've been analyzing this, and I guess, I don't know if this is a serious group or not that did this analysis, but the estimation that the object is located in this circle here, if this is 29 miles, this might be 13, 14 miles out, I'm guessing, from the coastline, just as a measure of perspective. What else do we have here? Oh, and now we get to this whole thing. This is Turkish TV. I guess we could talk about this. Do you want to jump in on this?
Yeah, there's a really interesting video that you can all watch.
It says right here, scientists analyze the Turkey UFO case and footage.
I mean, it's what we all want to see because, I mean, this was such a big event, such a big case that it was picked up by all of the television stations, all the news stations. So this particular one's interesting because, I'm sorry, what was his name again? From series Haktan.
Haktan Agedem, yeah.
Haktan was on this with these two scientists. And before they did the analysis, these two scientists were, you know, really
very skeptical.
I mean,
actually dismissively skeptical, I think is more accurate to say. Yeah.
And essentially, Haktan offered the footage to be analyzed, but he wanted to be there. Yeah, and he also wanted the newscaster to be there as well.
So this is them on TV, and this skeptic's like, this is a toy. Very nice photograph of an airplane, nothing else. And he's like, I will send the cassette to Dr. Tunke, who works at the Tubitek National Observation House. He's an expert on this. They agree. And he's like, why don't you give it to me to analyze? And this is where Haktan says, no, I don't think so.
Yeah, he was saying, no, I don't think so. You know, accidents can happen.
It might disappear.
Tapes can get lost. They can disappear. So he was very wise in that he wanted to accompany and be there.
He's like, no, let's go together with the cameras to the observation house. Yeah.
Which, by the way,